I thought the flatline meant I was losing everything I had worked for. Then somewhere around week 2, everything inside me went strangely quiet. My sex drive dropped so hard it felt like somebody pulled the plug. The motivation that carried me early on suddenly disappeared without warning. Music, food, workouts, even sunlight started feeling far away and muted. I kept asking myself what was wrong with me now.
Am I strong enough?
The scary part wasn't pain or cravings. It was the emotional emptiness. That numb desert made me want instant relief just to feel human again. My brain kept begging for proof that I was still alive inside. That is exactly why the flatline tricks so many guys into relapsing. But what I was feeling was not the end of recovery at all. It was recovery happening in a way I had never expected before. 4 years, I trained my brain to chase extreme stimulation on demand. Fast dopamine, novelty, and instant reward had become my normal baseline. So when I removed those constant hits, my system dropped into a low. Not because I was broken beyond repair or permanently damaged. Because my brain was recalibrating after being overfed for too long. Flatline can show up as low libido that makes you question everything. It can show up as brain fog that makes simple tasks feel heavy. It can show up as irritability, fatigue, numbness, and random waves of fear. Some days I felt completely empty, like my emotions had dried out. Other days I felt restless, impatient, and weirdly hopeless for no reason. I kept checking myself, looking for signs that I was still okay. But all that checking did was make the fear louder in my head. I had to stop treating every symptom like some kind of disaster. The flatline is not a final verdict on who I am. It is a phase of recovery, even when it feels endless. A rough phase, a confusing phase, but still just a phase. And that difference matters when your mind is trying to scare you. The timeline is different for everybody, and that part is frustrating. For some guys it hits early, right after the first burst of motivation. For others, it shows up later, when they think they are already safe. Some people feel it hard for a few days and start improving. Others carry it 4 weeks and think the silence will never lift. My job was not to predict the exact day it would end. My job was to survive the desert without turning around and quitting. So I made the rules simple enough to follow even when numb. I sleep like recovery matters, because exhausted brains make desperate choices. I get sunlight even when I do not feel like leaving the house. I train my body even when my mind feels flat and disconnected. I eat real food instead of feeding stress with random junk. I drink water because a drained body makes everything feel worse. I keep a basic routine when emotions stop giving me direction. I stopped chasing motivation and started respecting structure instead. I learned not to test my libido every single day. I learned not to scroll just to force myself to feel something.
Time to stop.
I learned that boredom is uncomfortable, but relapse is far more expensive. I learned that peace can feel empty before it starts feeling good. On the worst days, I stopped thinking about the next month. I brought my focus down to the next hour in front of me. I just made one clean decision at a time and protected it. A walk instead of a spiral when my mind started sinking. A cold shower instead of a search when urges tried to come back. Sleep instead of self-sabotage when the night started getting dangerous. Then slowly, almost as slowly to notice, the signal started returning. A little more energy showed up in my mornings again. A little more clarity came back to my thoughts and attention. A little more life returned to ordinary things I had stopped feeling. So if you feel nothing right now, do not panic and do not quit. You are not dead inside. You may just be crossing the flatline desert,